Well, folks, here we're again for the weekly forecast. Of course, we have an impending storm system that's expected to move out of the western United States and impact the Central Plains and produce some pretty significant moisture across some portions of Kansas and possibly even Nebraska. But before we get to that main forecast, let's take a look at what's happened during this last week. And of course, the major news was the precipitation event that hit us last weekend, particularly the areas of the eastern two-thirds of the state and particularly south of the Platte River Valley, where precipitation totals were a little bit greater than we were in the northern part of the state. Northern part of the state, quarter to half an inch was pretty common. Got south of the Platte River, we've seen precipitation increasing up to about 1.5 inches in some of the isolated thunderstorms that did develop. We actually had a tornado confirmed in the North Platte region. So it is a sign of spring, and of course with the weather going forward, we are expecting to see the chance for some very significant moisture and possibly even some accumulated snowfall as we get into the middle part of next week. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see how this is going to progress as we go through this next 7-day period. And as we go to the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is a piece of energy that moved through the state during this last 24-hour period has now moved to the east of us. And we did have some scattered shower activity across the state, nothing major. And we aren't expecting much in the way of precipitation today, so it looks like it'll be fairly good conditions in regards to the spring game in Lincoln. There may be some precipitation breaking out as we get into the afternoon and evening hours as another piece of energy tries to scoot through the state. It's very weak as we have this trough moving into the western United States. So by the time we get to tomorrow, you'll see there is a little bit of troughiness there, and we might touch off a few scattered showers and possibly even a thunderstorm. But again, we're not looking for a lot of significant coverage. It's going to be hit and miss. But the main activity starts to come in as we get into the Monday time frame. And you'll notice this low starts to really dig down to the desert southwest. It's going to pump a lot of warm air and moist air up from the Gulf of Mexico in advance of this system and really start to get the system in the lower atmosphere wetted up enough that we should start producing some substantial rainfall, particularly as we get into Monday evening. And by the time we get into Tuesday, this low will really have itself cranked up in southeastern Colorado, and we could see some severe weather in some locations of eastern Nebraska. It's kind of iffy right now, but definitely thunder is in the possibility. And with this feed into our region, we're expecting some heavy precipitation. In fact, the models are indicating with this event that most areas of the state should at least receive 1 inch of moisture, with possibly up to 2 inches plus in the southeastern corner and potentially even that in the southwestern corner and the southern panhandle if the snow does get cranked up as we get into Wednesday. So by the time we get to Wednesday, one of the systems starts to move up to the Great Lakes and start to pull in some pretty significant air behind it, and that should produce some snowfall on the backside of it, particularly during the overnight hours. The accumulations are really going to be dependent on the temperatures at the surface, and of course we would expect with these warmer temperatures we've been receiving lately that that's going to limit the snowfall accumulations, but it wouldn't surprise me, and we need to pay attention to the weather. This could really crank out some significant snowfall, particularly in some of the drought-stricken areas of western Nebraska that desperately need the moisture. Now by the time we get to Thursday, the system starts to clear our region. We start to get a little cooler northwesterly flow on the backside of it, and by the time we get to Friday, we'll notice that the ridge starts to build back into our region, so we'll start to see warmer temperatures. Let's take a look at the specifics. In terms of the specifics, we're looking at fairly mild temperatures this weekend with just a scattered chance of thunderstorm activity on Sunday. And as we get into Tuesday, that's when our main precipitation event rolls into our region. We should see widespread rainfall, some thunderstorm activity possible, maybe even severe. And as we get into Wednesday, start to get cooler conditions with rainfall and snow breaking out during the overnight hours and clearing the state as we get into the day on Thursday. In terms of the 8 to 14-day forecast next through the following Tuesday, I think they may be overdoing this colder air in our region, but it looks like we'll be closer to normal in terms of precipitation. Most of the precipitation will stay well east of the state.